What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Cup of Cinema. We took a little bit of a hiatus, but we're back, and today we're going to be reviewing Alien from 1979. My name's Joseph, and I'm with my co-host and beautiful fiancée, Keja. And how's your morning been?
Good. Yeah, not very productive, but that's okay. We went and grabbed a coffee, which is really nice.
Yeah.
There's a new cafe down the street from where we live, so we're going to go there probably every weekend now.
Yeah, I got to bring my own oat milk, though, because...
Yeah, they charge $1. He only gets like a little splash of oat milk, and they charge $1 to put oat milk in your coffee, which is an abomination. So
yeah, I think that's nuts.
Just bring it home and add your own, I guess.
So that's what I'll be doing. Yeah. But they do have good coffee, though, so... And it's a nice spot for laptop work and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's really nice. They did a good job there. It's just that whole dollar thing is crazy. But yeah, your morning was good?
Yeah, my morning's been good. Got the coffee, gamed for a bit, and then after this I got to do some editing, and then I'm going to the gun range with one of my friends, so that'll be fun.
And I'm doing I'm doing a girls' day.
Nice, that's pretty cool.
Getting my nails done.
Wow. All right. So, today we're going to be talking about Alien, the first ever one that came out, directed by Ridley Scott. But before that, let's talk about some movie news. And the biggest movie news, especially around this franchise and my movie world, is Alien Romulus is coming to theaters August 16th. We got our tickets yesterday, as soon as they released.
He's like, oh, they're filling up fast. But like he said it like really dramatically. And I look over and there's 4 seats. That
have already been filled up, and ticket launch was
out
like...
of a whole theater. It's filling up fast!
It's going to be a full theater, and it's hilarious because there's 4 people, 2 here and then 2 right in front of them, and they're right in the middle, and that's where I want it to be. So I sat at the top one right beside those 2. And again, it's going to be a full theater, so I'm not like, oh, I'm going to sit beside 2 people in an empty theater. It's going to be packed. But I know that those 2 must be Alien fans to get their tickets as early as I did. So as soon as I get there, I'm going to be like, you guys got your tickets pretty early, I noticed. Big Alien fans, and see what they say, but I bet you they are.
Wear your Alien shirt?
Yeah, I got my Alien shirt. I'm going to probably wear this to theater, maybe. I got a couple of them. Maybe I won't wear something so bloody to the theater with the kids.
Don't wear something with white, because you'll get popcorn butter on it or something.
Yeah, wear something like, I have one black one, so yeah. And then... yeah, so excited for that. Are you kind of excited for that? I guess a little bit. No, not even a little. I know you hate the theaters.
Honestly, not really. I don't think people will be rude. Like, I don't think anyone's going to kick my seat. Thank God, because that happens every time I go. Someone's kicking my seat.
I think it's going to be loud, though.
I almost always have to turn around and say something. Yeah, it's probably going to be, I don't know. I just don't like crowded theaters.
Yeah.
I don't love Alien as much as you do.
Yeah, I'll be zoomed into the movie, so I usually don't. Yeah. Even when we watch Scream, I have 2 friends that came. One of them loves going to the theaters, one doesn't, just like her, and they had a worse time at Scream. I remember you 2 were like, people were yelling, people were screaming, and I was going to tell them to shut up. I know Lena was so pissed off, yeah. And then me and my buddy Mike were just like zoned into we were like, what? All that was going on? I didn't hear nothing. Did you? He's like, no, man, I was just watching the movie. I was like, yeah. And then I also, talking about the theaters, I watched Twisters in D-Box, which was pretty cool. I've never been to a D-Box movie yet. It's when your seats move around and stuff, so it was pretty interesting. And then I kind of wish they would, it's a smaller screen though, and the surround sound isn't as of a punch as IMAX is. So I wish they would combine those 2, and even Screen X, make like a IMAX, Screen X, D-Box, all in one theater. That'd be awesome.
I'm sure they've thought of that before. Like, obviously, I think there's probably something about it that they can't do. Like, maybe people projectile vomit when it's too much, or like you can't focus on the movie because there's just so much going on. Or,
for us movie goers, I could do it. I'd be like, yeah.
Looking around at the screens all around.
Everything's happening. It'd be awesome. All right, so let's talk about Alien from 1979. The budget, it had an $11 million budget, which was, like, I would think a little bit high in 1979, but still not that crazy. They used, all practical effects back in the day, and it was a movie that I think tried to push itself to be something more than other movies, especially in the sci-fi world when it came out. But it profited 104 million, so easy to say it did very, very well, and probably more now. But like on the site I was looking at, it said a profit of 104 million. So yeah, did pretty well. Yeah, did pretty good, especially for its time. But do you want to read the synopsis of the movie?
The commercial towing spaceship Nostromo is on a return trip from Thetis to Earth, hauling a refinery and 20 million tons of mineral ore, and carrying its 7-member crew in stasis. Upon receiving a transmission of unknown origin from a nearby planetoid, the ship's computer awakens the crew.
Nice. So I think it's kind of funny because it's crazy how big the Nostromo is, and it's only a 7-member crew.
That's crazy. I mean, I know
that ship was huge.
Yeah, like a part of me wants to pick that apart, but like it's obviously set in a sort of world where that's possible. And
yeah, you don't really need the humans, right?
But in my head, I'm like, why would you only have 7 people? They're all really young. Like even the maintenance crew, like they seem a little too like blue collar, like not really like. Not to say that they were like unintelligent or anything. It just seemed for like trying to. If anything goes wrong in that whole vessel, like they're the two that are going to fix anything. Like, what if there's something they don't understand? Like, they really know everything that well? Because there was a scene where they were trying to figure something out, and they were like, you know, picking at it. It was like something overhead, and I'm like, do they like they're kind of guessing? They don't really know. Why are they there?
Yeah.
Maybe that's kind of the point. Maybe they didn't want people who were super valuable, actually. So I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was an expendable crew. She finds out at the end. So, spoilers. Yeah. But but it is crazy though that Mother can't fix her own ship. Like she doesn't have the robotics to fix her own ship if something goes wrong. Yeah. Because that's maybe it can though. That's why maybe they're expendable and maybe it actually can fix itself. But
and like the alien needs something to latch onto, so that maybe that's why they're there. But like also it's such a big ship, and they're hauling what are they hauling?
Mineral and ore and all that.
No, but they're hauling a refinery.
Refinery, yeah.
So, like, maybe because it's so big, like, maybe it's, like, almost indestructible. Like, it's not really a problem. Like, they don't... Whatever society they have doesn't feel like it's going to be an issue because it's so... bonkers.
Well, it's set, like, way in the future, so they've been traveling through space for a long time. And it sounds like they've never came in contact with aliens before. So I think the humans think that space is not as terrifying as we think it is now, because since we don't know as much, But yeah, let's go over the cast quickly. So Sigourney Weaver played Ellen Ripley, which was her huge role for her, especially at the time. Don Skerritt played Dallas. Veronica Cartwright played Lambert. John Hurt played Kane. Ian Holm played Ash. Harry Dean Stanton played Brett. Balaji Badejo, I think his name is. He was the man in the xenomorph costume. Bless you.
Sorry.
No worries. And he did an incredible role with his movements and stuff, I thought. Yaphet Kotto played Parker. Helen Horton played Mother, the voice of Mother. So, and then there was Roy Scamell, who was also in the alien costume. But I think Balaji Badejo had the main, was just the face for it. He has a funny story. I heard that he was approached in a bar, and they just liked his figure and all that, and they asked him to.
I like your figure.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Be in a movie.
But that's where he was approached for the movie. Was the bar. I have no idea how the conversation went, but he was approached at a bar, and that's where he got the role to be a xenomorph in the Alien movie. And I think he was in graphic design or something at the time. So. But yeah, especially, so let's go through the actors quick. Like Ellen Ripley plays Sigourney Weaver plays an amazing Ellen Ripley. Like she's such a strong female who doesn't, take shit from anybody. Yeah. A guy or a girl.
Right from the jump. Yeah. Like she's there on a mission and like she plays by the book. Tries to get everybody else to do the same thing. Yeah. She's
like strict with that quarantine scene and not wanting Ash to open the door and all that. And then she even tells him too, like goes after him, like, she doesn't just say, oh, you open the door. No, she goes after him, and then she even goes after Dallas for letting Ash do what he did without consequence. So, yeah, and I liked how she positions herself in the ship as well. Like, you know, in the scene, she's always leaning on something or like getting into people's space a little bit. So yeah, she's a dominant female character, which is great.
And like doesn't come across as like, I know it's
Overdoing
easy.
or
Yeah,
anything.
it's
Yeah,
easy for women, I think, to have be portrayed as like being bitchy and stuff, but she doesn't come across that as
not
all.
at
It's a
all.
very like, I don't know, assertive and like a respectful kind of way.
Yeah, and for
Yeah.
everyone saying that the Alien Romulus cast is like super young, Weaver was 29 when she played Ripley, and the new uh, main actor, or lead actor, I guess you could say, playing an alien is 26. So it's not too far off.
It was, again, it was kind of weird though, seeing how, I think I mentioned it earlier, how young the crew was in general. Like, usually there's like, I mean, the doctor,
Like Brett,
Ash was a little bit older.
same
you
with
could tell,
Brett too, and Parker. They looked a little bit older too,
but
and
like
Dallas.
normally, like I mean, this is obviously a different world, but when you think of like a ship and stuff, you think of like an older crew who's like been around and like they know how to
Yeah.
do the thing. So it was just kind of interesting, but not in a bad way.
I
But
like because they were really mixed. You had young and you had
yeah,
older too. And not young, young. You had like, they were
yeah,
like 20, 29. Like Ripley was 29.
yeah.
Even Lambert was super young at the time, Cartwright. But another cool thing with the Ellen Ripley character is that it was actually supposed to go to Veronica Cartwright, who played Lambert. She found out right before shooting that she was going to play Lambert because she had the Ellen Ripley role.
That
Isn't
honestly,
that crazy?
that sucks for her, but it kind of
Yeah.
makes sense because like, or sorry, like, I guess it doesn't make sense, but in a way, I was gonna say in my notes, like watching it, it was kind of weird to see, like the Lambert character, like how she was kind of looking, like she had like the short hair, she had that more masculine look to her, and
Yeah.
which is normally like a female lead in like an actiony kind of setting, like
Yeah.
that's more typical. Whereas like the longer hair, like a little bit more feminine character, Ripley, like she ended up being the more dominant, assertive one, the main character, but she kind of looked like she wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting that it was kind of the opposite ways where things are nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. And then, yeah, I thought Dallas was a wicked captain. Like, I liked how he was, you know, not too much of a captain, but also not a pushover. Like, he was half-half in some
It
scenarios.
was weird. I felt like he wasn't assertive nearly enough. He was
That's
kind of
what I
just
mean,
like
yeah, he wasn't
waiting for
assertive.
other people to give their opinions. His face is always just kind of like,
He was just
yeah,
kind of
like
go
that.
with the flow. That's what he was,
very
like, you know?
which kind of makes sense given his mission. Like they wanted someone who was gonna just
Go with the flow, yeah.
go with the flow,
Not ask
yeah.
questions, do as they're told, and just do things how, you
Yeah.
know. And then, like, John Hurt, who played Kane, who had the chest burster bust out of his chest, I thought his role was amazing. I thought he did a really good job in that scene, and like even just even the small scenes he had leading up to that. But yeah, when he started like choking on the food and just like he's all on the table, I was like, holy moly, what's going on? Like Parker's patting him on the back. It was such a good scene too because like you're already feeling for the characters, and then that happens and it really
Yeah, it was
jumps
good
the
timing.
movie. Yeah, yeah. It like really like the movie's going at this pace, and that was really like where it just blasted off all of a sudden without it like transitioning slowly
But
up.
I
It just went
feel
like
like they did that throughout the whole movie. Like the whole movie, if you take out all the intense scenes, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I guess, but like, you take out all the intense scenes, you have still like a really long movie, and it's all very like calm. The music's kind of calm, or maybe not calm,
Which I
but, like
like,
eerie,
yeah.
whatever. But like it's quiet. It's kind of like
yeah,
plateaued. But then at all the like intense scenes, they're just like quick blips, It's not like it's like intense and it like lasts a long time. They're just like little blips, which makes them more intense. Like that scene,
yeah,
it was just so like calm, but you also like you were feeling a little bit happy. So I guess it wasn't like calm, but I found that every other scene, like it was just like people walking and like looking around, and there was like, it was like, yeah, I just
Yeah.
felt like they had good timing with all the like jump scare kind of things. Like
Yeah.
they have better timing with it. Whereas like movies now, you watch and you're like, you can predict anytime it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
But with
exactly.
this, it's very like you don't know because the whole movie is kind of in that same.
it's like a quiet in
Feeling.
space movie,
Yeah,
right? And then
exactly,
the
yeah.
orchestra that they have in there, like the sound design and the score is absolutely amazing. Yeah, let's see who did the score for Alien quick, because that's what I really loved about the movie was the score, the sound. When the alien's about to come, or the xenomorph, or just the opening theme to the movie was incredible, like da-na-na-na-na. But
Okay.
so Jerry Goldsmith, which I should have known, but yeah, Jerry Goldsmith did the soundtrack for Alien, and yeah, he did an amazing job. And that's what I liked about movies, the score from more back in the day movies till now, because they're kind of just like instruments making these, cool sounds, and when you mix them together, they can be creepy and all that, or
Sometimes
sci-fi,
they have like
or
a symphony playing. Also,
exactly,
there's
yeah,
usually that mixed with a little bit of the background noise of the humming of the ship or the sounds of like gears, whatever it is. But
yeah.
they always have like some sort of symphony or orchestra.
Sound
playing
design
little
now is like
bits.
quick, like it's like such a huge punch. There's lots going on, like. When someone's running to the forest and there's like
it's like so loud. It's like
yeah,
you don't
it's like
feel the scene. You just hear music and you're seeing someone running. They don't mesh. Whereas with this,
it's not as nice. Yeah,
they all go together. It's cohesive.
Yeah, it makes it more of a
huge difference.
story, I guess, and rather than like I'm just trying to scare you because that's our mission as a horror. Because Alien is considered a horror movie. The second one, Aliens, is considered an action movie. But you could see, I don't know, I see the difference between older movies in the horror genre like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Alien, like the sound design is so different than it is today, and I feel like it just makes the scene a little bit more attractive and a little bit more like scary in a way where it's not a jump scare. It's more like, whoa, what's like, you're like, this, that, whatever the thing. It's just that, at the same time, it would be nice if we can get, like, we've watched all these old movies hundreds of times, so we don't get that same scare reaction anymore. So I would love to see a movie done now with a score like Halloween or like Friday the 13th or like Alien to see how it could be. But Christopher Nolan, he's somebody who does it right. Like, he hasn't done a horror yet, but I love his scores, like in Batman and Interstellar and all those movies. Like, absolutely incredible scores. And he's talking about doing a horror movie. So, because that's one genre he hasn't stepped foot in yet, because he's done so many different genres, and they're all just 10 out of 10s. So, yeah, hopefully he could do a horror, and that's somebody, and that's a movie that I could be like, okay, this is a really good score for a horror movie, I think I could say. But,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, right? Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, for me, Alien definitely goes down in my top 5, maybe even top 3 favorite movies of all time. One of my favorite things about Alien is the practical effects that they use, and that's what I'm really happy about Alien Romulus coming out with Fede Alvarez directing. He's going back to using practical effects, and I don't know, I think practical effects are such a big deal. Like, they're huge. Like, the CGI, I like it in some areas, but yeah, like, if you're going to whip a car across, like, a city or something, the CGI can be done for that, no problem. But, like, then they start overdoing it, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to bring this up. A Spider-Man, Tom Holland, like, why do you need a full CGI suit? It doesn't make any sense. You could have just a real nice-looking suit, like Andrew and Tom, or
I feel like there's people out there that must be, like, really excited by CGI and must really love the capabilities of it, and that's what they like to flex.
They look past
and see.
how bad and fake it looks
I
rather
don't
than
think,
practical effects.
Yeah, I just don't think that that's something they think about. I think they think like, wow, look how realistic this crazy artificial thing is, versus the way that you kind of see it. Like I don't know. It's like, why else would they do it all the time?
Like, I was watching Predator the other day, and the old one, and I'm seeing all these, like, explosions because they're in the jungle and there's, like, military camps and there's, like, real fire, I'm like, this is a movie. Like, holy moly, look at this. And then, what we get now is, like, it's just not, I don't know, maybe it's because we know it's not real, that it doesn't really have that same effect and
it
feeling.
It doesn't, though. Like, old movies just look better. Even when I think I've said this before, but, like, when there's like scenes and people are like really intense and everything's really dramatic, they've got sweat trickling down their face, but not just like a bead of sweat. It's like their whole face looks moist, kind of like flushed. Like, you can tell that they're actually feeling something. Yeah. And I find with old movies, like if you think about like a lot of the old like what are they, like the Schwarzenegger movies, like, where he's like running around the jungle, like.
That was Predator,
Or maybe it's also that they're actually sweating and they actually are showing emotions that they're, maybe halfway having or something. But it just looks different versus now when you watch a movie, it's some really pretty person running through the jungle. You can tell they've had like water spritzed on their face.
Yeah, exactly. Their hair is perfect.
Everything about it looks fake, and I think it's the same thing with like the fire and the effects and stuff. It's like, again, everything's just like, oh, let's spray this and let's do that versus the real thing, and it shows.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And like a Blair Witch Project, the first one is a perfect example of those actors actually being in the environment, looking like they've been in the environment, and
because they were.
Yeah, exactly. Because they were, right? Yeah, exactly. That's what it's. So yeah, I think it's a lot different though when I see the CGI and like the practical effects. Again, it's just a feeling like a good feeling to see, because one of the cool things about the movie, well, I don't know, it's not that cool, but one of the weird, I guess, things you could say about the movie is the practical effects were so real that for the chestbuster, when they were looking through it and all that, it was made of, what is it made of here? I'm losing it. Wait, okay. So when Ash was doing the autopsy, the facehugger was made of shellfish, 4 oysters, and sheep kidney to recreate the internal organs. Like, that's real. Like, that's insane. And when I was watching it, even, like, when I was watching it, I'm like, this is 1979. Like, this thing looks so freaking real. Like, when they were looking through it, I'm like, that looks like real organs and gut. And then I find this out, and I'm like, that's why, But that's, I don't know, it just makes a huge difference in the movie. And another weird fact was that they actually used real blood on set when the chestburster broke out of what's his name again? Kurt's chest, which was animal guts, blood and animal guts. And Sigourney Weaver said that the set smelled horribly, and Kodo went home afterwards. So yeah, it was kind of that's such a big thing to do for a scene, I think. Like. And they nailed it though. It's one of the most iconic scenes in, I would say, movie history. They made a shirt out of it. So yeah, I think that was pretty cool. Interesting facts about the movie. So one name we haven't talked about yet is H.R. Giger. He's the guy who created the design of the xenomorph and a lot of what you see in the spaceship and all that in the derelict, which is the alien spaceship that we see in the movie at the beginning.
Is it Giger or Geiger? I
think it's Giger. Yeah, I think it's Giger. Yeah. So he designed the alien look. He's got a museum in Switzerland. I really want to go see it one day. It just looks wicked. He's got different designs, different xenomorph designs. Like the walls and the tables and the chairs are all, that xeno shell looking. So it's super cool. It's all like gray and black. So yeah, I want to go there one day. I'm really excited. But he was the man who, designed it. So he's not with us anymore, but he really had an imagination, a really cool imagination. Do you have anything to chime in with?
There was one scene, the one where Dallas, the captain, was in the vents.
Yeah. And
it was one of those times where like normally it's like really calm leading up to the thing, but for this one, like it was calm, and then because they had the sensor and they could see where the alien was, and they were communicating it to him, and it was like near him, and so he's like kind of trying to get away, but he's kind of taking his time. And the one girl with the short hair is like yelling, and the beeper's going beep, 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 beep. Yeah. And so it was like really loud, and it was just like really intense for a few moments. And they're like, it's behind you, and he turns, and I don't know if you noticed, but the alien's like, bah!
Yeah.
Like its hands are out, it looks like it's like, boo.
Yeah, some of the scenes were
I just thought it was really funny.
Like, it's one of those, like, I guess back in the day when you saw it, you were maybe scared, especially in the theaters.
Yeah, well, you might not
jump
even
scare,
have caught it. Like,
and jump scares weren't as often happening back in the day, but...
It was so fleeting.
It was, and it was loud, too. It's a loud scene, so again, in the theaters, it probably made people jump. People said they fainted and were throwing up while watching this movie back in the day, which is insane. Mm-hmm. But I think it's because we're just desensitized now that we don't feel that way as much. But yeah, that part was kind of like funny. There's a couple funny parts in the movie. Like I felt that part was kind of funny when they're putting Ash's head after Parker hit it off with the fire extinguisher. They're like putting it on the table, and then you could see that there's like this massive cut, and then it's like actually
like
the actor's head there talking. So that was funny. When the alien's moving like all weird like this for that few seconds, that was like a funny scene too, I thought. And the other weird scene I thought in the movie was when Ash tried shoving a magazine down Ripley's throat. I was like, what is that doing?
But like it makes sense because like you see, if you rewatch, you see him like kind of struggling to hurt her, even though she attacked him first after finding out the true mission.
Yeah.
And then he was kind of going after her after, and I think like he's programmed not to go after humans, but he was like fighting it a little bit, so he was just kind of being weird, and he was like, he wasn't twitching, but he was like looking around and like making weird faces, and then he just like was like scrunching up the paper and like staring at it, and I think trying to fight that urge and whatever. I don't know. I think that's kind of what it was.
I thought, yeah, it was a strange scene. I heard somebody mention that on a podcast I was listening to, that it has something to do with resembling the face hugger. How like they try and put something down your throat, and that's what, you know, it's like a resemblance to that.
Maybe because he doesn't know how to harm humans, and that's like something that he's seen.
Just saw maybe because of that, yeah.
Yeah, so he's like using his experience in the world.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool observation.
The other thing I want to point out about the movie overall was that I hadn't thought about it before, but I think something that makes it really special is that it doesn't. And like I know I do a lot of comparing with current movies, but like it doesn't focus on. Like, you see that the crew have relationships with each other. You know, when they first get out of cryo, they're, like, chatting with each other, kind of laughing, smoking, whatever. But they don't focus on relationships at all. They don't focus on background, anything like that. Like, they just, they're in a ship, and they have a mission. And the only thing that affects that are their personalities and the alien. Like, that's it. Like, the only kind of relationships you get are just like, I don't know, you don't really get a lot of that.
There's no lovey-dovey, there's no romance with these characters, there's no sexual tension with these characters either, but there was supposed to be. Ash and Ripley were supposed to be like a friends with benefits thing, and Dallas and Lambert were supposed to have like a romance, or Dallas or Brett and or maybe it was Brett and Parker were supposed to have a gay thing together. So there's a couple of relationship things circling around before the movie started, but then we got what we got. But the movie actually is very sexual. It has a lot of sexual features. So like, it's about impregnating man or woman, right? The face hugger going down your throat, laying an egg, that egg being born, but all those types of things. And if you look at the derelict, it's like people made these observations that those holes look like vaginas a little bit, which look exactly like the face hugger's mouth when Ash is looking through it. It looks.
Well, I think that just happens to be.
No, they made it purposely like that. H.R. Giger's design was to make it. Because I didn't think that at all.
When I saw any of that, I wasn't like, that looks like a vagina. Like that didn't cross my mind at all.
Yeah, but that's the
like
design
I realized that the egg thing is like obviously eggs do require sex, whatever. But But yeah, as a whole, like the movie doesn't focus on sex or relationships in that way, in the human way.
Not in the human way, yeah, exactly. But it's like more of an alien way, which is crazy, which I like.
Completely fine. But yeah, it's just nice to see a movie that's just like, this is what's happening, let's focus on this, instead of adding in all this other shit. So that's why all the scenes, like, they're just quiet. Yeah. And they're like intense, because you're not like, oh, what'd she say to him, or what was that flashback?
There's no waste of time either between these characters having this weird really relationship. Nice. They're just cool, they're friends.
We don't need it. It wasn't necessary.
No, it's not necessary. Though I enjoyed that part too. But yeah, the alien though is actually very like not sexually driven. I forget what the word is. Yeah, like, exactly. Like
I don't think of sex, I just reproduction.
No, yeah. Like, but there's just a lot of that in a lot of those references, I guess, throughout the movie. If you actually look for them, they're brought out, because I was doing not a lot, but I was doing research into it, and it is pretty crazy. Even like there's one scene where Lambert dies. She gets like the tail between her legs, and it shoots up, and people have a lot of conspiracies around that and all that, but it's just all the time the alien is they talk about the reproduction and all that type of stuff, but But yeah, I remember like when I was watching it the other night with you, I was looking at the derelict and I saw those holes and I was like the holes in the ship and I was like those do look kind of weird. Like now that I've been bringing it up more in these podcasts to listen to and I rewatched it, I was like, yeah, there is kind of some weird stuff in here. Like the first person is a male being impregnated by the alien, right? So it's kind of it's different.
Oh, and I also like that they didn't focus on Ripley a lot at the beginning. Like you didn't know who the main character was.
Yeah, which I love.
Which is super uncommon. Like that's unheard of. Again, they always give background and context and where does this person come from? Who are they interested in? Like blah 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 blah, blah all this shit. But like it was just this is what's going on in this ship. These are the people. This is the mission. Like bing bang boom. You know?
Exactly. I like that too. Yeah, it was really well written. That's what the best part of the movie was. It was just well written and it had a great pace. It wasn't like too slow in the slow parts. It wasn't like too much in the action part. Like it was just all perfect. It was just a perfect horror / sci-fi movie. And it could have been a standalone too because they didn't have plans for Aliens or Alien 3 or any of those. It was just this movie and it did really well, but let's say none of the other movies ever came out and this standed as a cult classic like Clockwork Orange, like it could be in that category. You didn't really need it to go anywhere else. And one of the big things I liked about the movie was it had so much mystery without us like asking like wanting the questions. Like, you watched it and you're satisfied. You're not like, "Oh, I wish they told us about this or I wish they told us about that," because they just did everything nicely, like, well, yeah, we're curious where the alien came from, but I wasn't like, really curious because they showed too much maybe about the alien and without giving us too much of an origin story, but it's there, like, it's an egg on this
they
thing.
Also kind of gave us enough that like they went to this planet where some other creature had been attacked by this alien, so you kind of
you don't know the true alien story yet.
Yeah, but no,
but yeah, they were actually attacked.
I'm talking about the context of this movie. That's what we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
So when you're watching this movie, the alien, from what you gather, it looks like the alien had attacked that other alien. So it kind of looked like, like we know the origin in a way, even though we don't know the actual origin. Like we feel like we do. So we feel like a question's answered.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because like we know that's whatever those big things are probably got donezo by them. And again, I like how they show everything kind of at the beginning because at the end you don't forget about it, but it's not the number one question on your mind either. Like if they showed the engineers, which we didn't even know they were called engineers or space jockeys at the time, but if we saw them at the beginning, I feel like, or at the end, I feel like we would have been asking for those questions more. But once the movie ends, you kind of forget about that scene in the beginning where you see those big things in the ship and you're not asking yourself too hard about what they were and all that type of stuff. And again, good writing, right? It was just great writing. So yeah, do you have any more you want to say about Alien? I think that's pretty much it. We went through the synopsis, the actors, gave our opinions, thoughts, threw some facts in there. Ridley Scott, he did all the camera work himself. Most of the camera work. They had a cinematographer, but he said that Ridley was just in there for most of all the shots. The cinematographer was just more getting those close-up angles and, trying to see if he could get any more. But yeah, Ridley took really all full control of being and directing the movie. After the miniatures were shot, which is like the little spaceships and all that, they're miniature figures, he went back and reshot all of it before the movie started because he wanted it to be absolutely perfect. And that's a lot of work. That's like a huge amount of work. But Ridley Scott is such an amazing director. Like, this was his second movie, I think, in his career. Before this one was The Duelist, which I've never seen before. And before that, he made commercials, like perfume commercials, which his company, Scott Free, today, it still does. And they're super weird. I gotta say, they're very strange. I always find perfume commercials very strange, though. Like, there's this lady weird. Riding a horse, or this guy riding a horse, or one of the two.
That's all they are. It's just, you need to convey a vibe.
The last one, though, is like, I forget it was a guy or girl riding the horse, and they're in the Grand Canyon or something, and then there's either a guy or girl, like, can't remember which one was riding the horse and which one was playing the piano. But one's playing a piano on the fucking Grand Canyon, one's riding a horse, they like meet each other, and then they're just standing there with the perfume bottle on the piano, and then the commercial, and then the perfume thing comes on. I'm like, What was this? What
It
does this
probably
have to do with
smelled
anything?
like
Why is she on a horse?
earthy,
Why
because
is he
Grand
playing a
Canyon's
piano?
earthy
What and
and
you know,
sophisticated because there's a piano
and
and
she's on the piano with like this dress, like this red long, or sorry, on the horse with this red long dress. He's like suit and tie on the piano. They're in the Grand Canyon. I was just like, this is super weird, but but um, but yeah, that's perfume commercials for you. But yeah, you want to go through the rating, the reviews, and all that?
we didn't give our rating.
So, well, mine's pretty easy, 10 out of 10. Alien is definitely a 10 out of 10 movie for me. I absolutely love it. I remember seeing short story of how I started, how I got into Alien was my parents, they rented the downstairs of our old house out to another couple. And we used to go down there all the time. They're super nice, and they're my dad, my parents, and them were friends. So we'd hang out there down there sometimes. And they had the Alien box set, Alien 1, 2, and 3 at the time because Prometheus, Covenant weren't out yet, and I don't think Resurrection was just part of this box set. But they had the box set, and I didn't know what it was at the time, but I was always fascinated by this box because I thought it looked super cool. It's like black, neon green. You had the egg at the in the middle with Alien, and I was just like, whoa, this looks super cool. Like, what is this? And then I grew up. I was like a teenager now, and totally forgot about that box set and all that. And then Alien was on TV, and I was like, I think this is part of that box set that I was like obsessed by when I was a kid. So then I watched the movie, and yeah, it was just like, okay, this is incredible. I am really into this, and it really got me into sci-fi at the time too, because I was always into like space and aliens and all that, but it really kicked my gear up to getting into film more and working in the sci-fi genre. So yeah, hats off to Alien. Thank you for having me find my way a bit. But yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 movie for me. I think it's absolutely perfect in all ways. What about you?
9 out of 10.
Nice. That's a pretty high score for one of my favorite movies. Nice. um, and then let's see what we got for reviews about Alien, because I always like going through the reviews here, seeing what other people thought of the movie. I had it here. I just got to delete sound and go to review. So we're looking at. It's always so.
It says cast of Alien reviews.
Oh, that's why. We're almost there. We're almost there. Alien review. Let's do this. Do you want to read the reviews?
Rotten Tomatoes 93%, IMDb 8.5, and Metacritic 89%. And then Google reviews is an average of 4.6 out of like 1,000.
So it's got great reviews. The movie
Pretty
did very
consistent.
well. Did very well everywhere in the box office with reviews. Became a cult classic. We all love it. So yeah, and we're gonna wrap up here. But one question for you: are you looking forward to any new movies coming out? For me, I got Long Legs on my list, which I haven't seen yet. It's like a new horror.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people really liked it, but then there's one YouTuber, I think it was Moist Critical, was like, this movie was shit. So yeah, I'd be interested to see if it's good or not.
I'm excited to see it. I'm hoping there's no like rape scenes. I hate rape scenes in movies. They're like my least favorite
Why would you even
movies.
bring that up?
Because it's a horror. Like I was watching the trailer and it seems very like why
Rapey?
like well it's I don't know. I didn't really look into it yet, but it looks like it's a cop trying to figure something out. It looks super dark and it looks like it could step on those boundaries, and I just hate that. I hate that. I remember watching Straw Dogs in theaters, and I was just, I don't know, something happened to me that day. I was like, I can't take this. Because there's this like 2 minute scene in that movie, and it's
That's
so,
too long.
yeah, and it's so like realistic. Like she's just yelling. I was like, oh my God. So since then, I just can't do it with those scenes. So I'm hoping that it doesn't have those scenes in it, because I want to go see it in theaters. Because I heard it was really good. Next weekend, or next Monday, me and my buddy Blake. Damn, Blake. There we go. Jeez, I was
This
gonna
Monday?
say Blair for some reason. Yeah, yeah.
On
me
the
and,
holiday?
Oh yeah. What the hell? He said he got tickets.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, but we're gonna be watching Deadpool vs Wolverine, which yeah, that's kind of weird. How is the theater open on the holiday there? I guess maybe they are. Yeah. Yeah, Monday at 6:50. We going. to Deadpool. So, yeah, so I'm excited for that. 6:50 p.m. So we could do something during the day.
Well, I asked you earlier if you would be down to hang out with my brother.
Oh yeah, during
And
the
you
day,
said
right?
yes.
During the day. I knew I had something that going
Why
on,
didn't
but
you say something?
because it was right before bed and the phone was off. It was not phone time, so I couldn't check. But yeah, we'll figure that out. Come during the day. But yeah, guys, that's our Alien 1979 review. Hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to be back next week with a new review on Aliens. We're going to try and do the franchise before... Oh, is my shirt going down?
Yeah.
Stupid microphone. Yeah, but we're going to try and do the whole franchise. Maybe skip Resurrection because that movie sucks. And yeah, before Romulus comes out, which is in 2 weeks. 2 weeks! Can't wait. All right, guys. Have a great day. Peace.